Hello, I'm Cynthia Mallard, and welcome back to Doing the Most. Oh my God, I am here for another week, just spotlighting, educating, connecting, inspiring. That's what we do here on Doing the Most. Listen, guys, I have got an amazing and a special treat for you. Of course, you know we are in the middle of Black History Month, and we are going to be bringing to you amazing people in and around our community that I feel like, hey, they absolutely do the most. So without further ado, I want you guys, listen to that, look at that. I want you guys to meet Miss Nicole Fields. Hello and welcome to Doing the Most, Miss Nicole.
Hello, Cynthia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this interview. I've been anticipating it for a while.
Wonderful. So those of you guys who don't know, like I said, I just was prefacing, Nicole, that this is Black History Month and you are an amazing mother. You are a philanthropist, guys. But what you guys didn't know is that she is a highly successful business owner here in Atlanta, GA. And when I say she don't play, she has been in the tax business, accounting business for so long. She has saved some money for all of us. And it's just so good to have her here on Doing the Most. She is the owner of Timely Tax Service that services everyone here in Georgia and outside of Georgia. So Miss Nicole, can I call you, we call her Nikki. Is that okay for me to call you Nikki?
Yeah,
Well, good. Again, Miss Nikki, happy Black History Month to you. I got to say first.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. It is such a pleasure to be doing this, especially during this month.
It is, we like to say, February is supposed to be recognition of Black authors, Black achievements, but
Yes.
we celebrate Black history 365 days of the year.
Yes, we do.
So how have you been doing?
I have been doing great. I'm just in the midst of tax season and this has been busy, but other than that, busy mother with 3 kids and 2 dogs and a husband. So I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Like I said, I always say this with my guests and those who come on Doing the Most. I know that you guys are so busy because you're very successful and you've got clients. You've got clients back and forth. But like we were saying, you're an accountant. Just tell us, how did you get into being an accountant? And then you arrived at owning your own business. Just take us through that journey.
Well, I got a full scholarship to Stillman College right out of high school, which was
HBCU.
great.
Yes,
HBCU,
yes.
proud, yes. And then I started off in computer science, and I took maybe a couple classes, and I said, this is not for me. So I love business. I've always loved numbers. So I changed my major to accounting. It was actually business administration with a concentration in accounting. Graduated from there and went on, moved to Birmingham, started working in the accounting field. That's where I met my husband. He's actually an accountant as well. He was working for a big 6 accounting firm at the time. Moved up the ranks, got into management, supervising roles in accounting and manufacturing accounting. Had my first child, had my second child. And then after I had my 3rd child, my husband and I decided it was best that I become a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
So I did that for a couple of years, and I realized it really wasn't for me. I like to be around people too much, although I love my kids. So I did it for like 3 years. And then I was going to go back into the workforce. And I said, I don't want to necessarily go back to working for somebody. I want to do something that we like to do on our own. And we had always been doing taxes on the side for other people because we were accountants. And of course, they always come to CPAs to do taxes. And so I started the business and I said, I'm going to start this business. I got a 5-year plan. If I'm successful, great. If not, we didn't lose anything. And I didn't take any salary or anything for the first 5 years. And from day one, God is good. From day one, year one, we were profitable with the business. And then it just grew and grew and grew from that point forward. So it's been almost 15 years now that I have owned the business, and it has grown tremendously over here in the East Cobb area.
Awesome. You know what? It's amazing. We like I said, we're in the middle of Black History Month, and here you are, woman, female business owner, an accountant. Kudos to you. I can imagine, when people come in, have you experienced any discrimination, when it comes to, in finance, especially, being an accountant, even when you were working just, corporately?
Were more so than not, I did. Even just moving up, a lot of my subordinates sometimes would be, they would not be Black, of course, they would be Hispanic or white. And so, and even, and during those times, it was just, I went to a small HBCU, and there were some who were working for me that went to some of the larger universities. And so they would not respect me for, my knowledge of who I have. I had one of my employees tell me, well, I went to the, such and such university. And so, I think that I deserve more respect, even though I was that person's supervisor. And so you can imagine how that conversation went. But as far as in my own business, I have not had never had any major discriminatory acts. Matter of fact, to be honest, the majority of my clientele isn't Black. And my business has really grown on that. So, and I have missionaries outside of this country that I do taxes for. And I think that what I've done and I've been able to do is just, I have always been true to myself to say that this is a woman-owned, Black-owned business.
Yes.
And I service everyone. So they have the choice. Either you choose to come or either you choose not to. And a couple of times I may have had someone, may show up and say something to me in the way that, oh, such and such spoke so highly of you. I didn't realize that you were, a Black woman. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is what it is, that type of thing. So I handle it in the best ways that I can when it does transpire. But I haven't had to face that more so now in my own business as I had to face it more when I was working in the corporate world.
Absolutely. When it comes to money, of course, like I said, you are the guru, you are the CPA, you are that person. When it comes to money, like where, I guess I can just ask you this generally, what have you found where we where we mess up, where you find we mess up, even before tax time comes around?
I think it's society as a whole right now. It's the right now society. We want everything, we want it immediately. Immediate gratification is what we call it. So no one really wants to say, okay, I'm going to save for something, I'm going to wait for something, especially now when tax season comes, and there are a lot of large refunds, and I have a lot of clients who get a lot of large refunds, and every year they're coming in and they need that refund. I'm like, you got so much money last year, where did it go? So they're buying, and it's just society right now as a whole. It's just consumerism is just at an all-time high. And unfortunately for our people, for the Black Americans, we have the largest amount of consumer debt that there is. And we spend more than any other race does. And our per capita amount is way less. So we are definitely, as a whole, and part of my that I use my business for over the last 15 years, and I thank God for this, is I am very transparent with my clients and letting them know. I will offer them at no additional charge, just financial advice, and try to give them ways to make themselves better if I see a lot of them in the same rut over and over and over again, because I'm not doing them any good nor myself any good. Of course, I can make money off of them, but that's not my sole goal. I have used this business, and my husband and other people tell you, so as a ministry to some, to where I want to help people any way that I can. And that means if it's from an advice level or just getting on you and saying, look, hey, you can't keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get different results.
Yeah. If you are just joining us, we are talking to Black business owner of Timely Tax Service, Miss Nicole Fields. I have to also reveal she is a soror of mine. We are members of the illustrious Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are right now members of Marietta Roswell alumni chapter right here in Georgia, which is where I actually encountered you, Soror. So you say the best money advice is to what? Save, right?
Well, save, but also have a plan and a goal as to what you're saving for. To save and then to not have an end result is sort of like, you're just churning your wheels but not getting anywhere. And
Right.
you're looking at a bank account and you're saying, okay, oh, I'm saving, I'm saving, I'm saving. But what is the end goal? And then once you meet that goal, do you stop right there, or do you just continue to go on and say, I can do better and I'm going to keep going?
Absolutely. Well, I know that you run Timely Tax Service, but you know what, guys? Here on Doing the Most, like I said, we are always about inspiring, educating, and connecting. And I know, Nicole, you are also the creator, the founder of an amazing foundation that really seeks and really has changed the lives of a lot of people in our community.
Yes, I created and founded the Loving Good Middle School Foundation back in, it's about 7 or 8, maybe 8 years ago. My oldest son was in the 7th grade at the school, and the school didn't have a foundation. Of course, the school that my kids attend are not a Title I school, so they don't get any outside funding. It's just whatever the school district gives, and then everything else comes from the community, and we needed to have a foundation. So I met with the principal, and she told me some of the goals that she had, and I said, well, we need to have a foundation. And so she said, well, will you take that task on? And I'm like, sure, I can. From the tax perspective, I knew, because I knew how to create the nonprofit account. I knew how to do all the logistics behind, but I had no idea how to really run a foundation, especially for a school of that magnitude with 1,400 students. And then just getting it out to the community. So I created it with some help from Cobb County Schools Foundations. They
Wow.
kind of helped me oversee it and got it going. It's still going, and I'm still actually on the board there. And I haven't had a kid at the school for the last 3 years, but I care so much about the community, and we've done some amazing things, and we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for that school and for our community.
Now I know that was it supplies, whatever the kids need is that correct? Like
We had
tools?
supplies, and just like when we got through with COVID, we put in the automatic water fountains in the school for them to be able to just use their individual cups and get their water out. We've done 4D printers for the school. We redid the entire media center library is what we used to call them, but the entire media center with new supplies, new paint, everything. We created a serenity room for the kids to go in and to be able to relax. We've done a lot of things. We do teacher grants every year for anything that they may want to have that the school district does not supply them, or that they cannot afford. We will give them the grant. We bought all new PE equipment several times for the PE department. So it's just on and on and on. And we meet with the principal, with the teachers. We have a board to determine what are their needs within that school and how can this community help. We also started the first 5K at the school that we had. So that was our inaugural event. So that was a lot of work, but it was worth it. So I learned a lot doing that.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of connections and putting that on. So we had major vendors, and we had a lot of runners. And of course, when COVID came, we did it virtual. And then we just need to look about to start it back up. So
well,
it's something that is just passionate.
It sounds like, and I know that my audience, like I said, the audience can attest, like you have your hands just in a lot of different areas. And I can imagine, I ask guests, especially when you come here to Doing the Most, because it's about, a lot of times we wake up, right? We see amazing and fabulous people like yourself, right? And we're trying to figure out, okay, how can I be like Nicole Fields, right? But I know it hasn't been a gravy train for you all this time, right? Just tell us, how did you get here, just personally? Were there ever some times where you felt like, hey, I'm about to give this up. I'm about to go a different direction.
Oh, a lot of drive and determination. I mean, I was raised that way from my hometown in Alabama, and my dad's family. Everybody, there's plenty of entrepreneurs on that side of the family.
Where are you from again?
Mobile, Alabama, the
Mobile.
port
Okay.
city.
Yes.
The port city. So I was raised there, and my grandfather was really big, did a lot of good things in the city. And so I had a lot of expectations on me and my brother when we were growing up, things that we were going to do. So it was just ingrained in us to just don't stop, always give up. Even when you face obstacles, it's just a bump in the road. How do you come over it? So yeah, there have been times when I was working and I would have a boss I didn't like, or I just felt like I had that entrepreneur spirit. But
Right.
like, I just don't want to do this. I want to just give up. And thank God my husband is so supportive. And so when we had the third kid, I was able to have that opportunity and to see what that side would be like, and to realize, okay, this is fulfilling. I love my kids, but this is really not fulfilling what's in me to be. And
Wow.
that is to be, my own business. Cause I had said that from college and high school on, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to own my own CPA firm, and I wanted to help our community as well as others. And I wasn't going to stop till I fulfill that dream. And then like my kids work in the business, to help. So it's just been extraordinary. And
So
sometimes
you're
I do
teaching the
get
next
tired.
generation. So you're teaching the next generation when
I'm
it comes
trying.
to finance.
I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I'm trying. They do work, but I haven't seen that passion in any of them to do taxes. But they know how to do it.
Absolutely. When we talk about doing the most, again, we always ask, I just coming up with myself, I've always asked, Cynthia, am I doing the most with the life that we have? So often we're so busy, we're running, we're mom, we're wife, we're working our jobs, and we kind of just fall off. We fall off, and we are off on a trek that we never intended to be on. So a lot of times I ask, Cynthia, am I doing the best, the most with what I have, with what God has put inside? When you mentor, what is it that you find, say, with young girls who may not be on the trek that we're on, who have not realized, what their purpose is in life? What's your words for them?
Yeah, and so in my church, I have always done, I'm at a different church now, but my previous church, I always was over the youth ministry, in the youth ministry, and working with girls specifically. So I always call them my girls. I had this same group of girls. I took them from third grade through high school, and I'm still in contact with a lot of them today. But what I've always told them is, you need to be the best you that God created you to be. In this world right now, we have social media and we have all these outside influences.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to get caught up in what somebody else is doing. And so I said, just think that half that is going to be, it's going to be not real. And then the main thing I tell them is like, if you want someone to treat you the way that God says that you should be treated, you have to see yourself as that person. It's how you dress, it's how you talk, it's how you walk, it's how you carry yourself. And we need to carry ourselves, as the child that God has created us to be. And then also to just don't get caught up in all the hype of, I want to be at this place and point in my life, and I'm not quite there yet. Everybody's story, everybody's road is going to be different. How we get there ultimately is just to never stop. Never stop. Sometimes I get burnout, but I do things. I'm really big on self-care. Self-care to me is a top priority. I try to make it one. I try to do girls trips. I try to just do things to personally care for myself. I read a lot of self-help books, a lot of things that's just going to keep me in a positive mindset.
Yes.
And because when those times do come, when I'm burnt out or tired, I have something to glean from. I have something that's going to be there. So
and remind you of who you are in this moment.
Exactly. So I always tell people to find what it is that makes them tick. Find what it is that if everything else was taken away from, you was gone, what is it that will really make you tick? Not another person, not in some things. What is it in you that brings you that self-peace? And for me, it's going to the gym. It's just a lot of things that just keep me centered.
Nicole, I want to ask you, when was there a time that you thought you wouldn't bounce back from? An event or something that happened in your life that, that it's something that you can pass on to us here at Doing the Most?
Say my freshman year in college, like I told you, I had a free ride, thank God, to Stillman College. And that year was very hard for me. I came from a small town. I went to a Catholic school for the majority of my life, and I was pretty much in a more integrated area. That's how I was brought up. And when I went to a HBCU, I had never really experienced that many different Black people coming together. And that's
Diverse,
sad to
right?
say, being I'm a
Exactly.
Black woman. I
Yeah.
had never really experienced it to that degree. And they were coming from all over, all over the world coming there. It's just different lifestyles, different things. So, and in that same year, my grandmother pretty much helped raise me. She ended up passing from cancer that same year. My parents took me to school in like August, and I think in August, and she died maybe a month or so later. And so I just didn't want to, I had no desire to do anything. I just wanted to just be, or not even exist. And so that was one of the worst times. And then I was trying to adapt to being on my own, to being in college, to being around people, just all different walks of life, and trying to make good decisions and not bad decisions. And I basically just almost failed out of college that year. And so I had to figure this out. Okay, if I don't get this, this is my one chance. My parents could not afford to send me to school.
What brought you back immediately? Like what brought you back? What put you back?
It was me, and I always had I didn't have a fear of my parents or a fear of failure. I had a fear of disappointment. I didn't want to disappoint them, and I didn't want to disappoint myself, because even then I knew what God had for me was bigger than what I could see. So I had to just go back on that, and also realize I got to go to college, and this is the only way I'm gonna get there. So I worked through my academic probations, and from that point forward, from that year forward, I was straight and narrow, and I graduated with like summa cum laude, and I was ready to go. So it was just like, when I look back on times when I get down, I'm like, okay, there have been things, I'm still here. That's all I say. I'm still here, and I'm waking up every day, and I got a story that I'm continuing to write. So
Absolutely.
That's how I try to look at it.
Absolutely. Well, again, guys, we have been talking to Nicole Fields, who is the owner of Timely Tax Service. She is a CPA in our community, helping to bridge the gap in finances, and just helping to produce the amazing people who are financially fit in our future. So I thank you so very much. Nicole, you have to give us, if you can, a way that we can get in contact with you. Somebody may have heard something that they want to talk to you about, possibly even get them taxes that y'all get your taxes done. You know how it
yeah. And we
wait till the last minute,
we got
get them done.
And we do college students for free. I don't charge them at all. That's just been something that God placed in my heart, and I've always done that from day one. So I don't charge college students at all. And then also my seniors, senior citizens. I'm almost posted at that time, so I don't like to say it, but the older, we give them discounts as well. But we are at www.timelytax.net. And you can go there, and all the information and how to reach us. And we're also on Facebook. Just look up Timely Tax. And we're on Instagram as well. And that way someone will get right back to you, most likely me, because I like to have a personal connection. I have hundreds of clients, and I feel so bad sometimes if I cannot remember who they are, because I have pride myself on having personal connections with everybody, because I feel like that matters. That matters, because you can choose to go anywhere. When you have a relationship with someone, it makes you really want to stay with that person, and you are more, because I've never really done a lot of advertising. This business has grown pretty much on just, being myself, treating everybody like they matter, because they do.
Yes, they do. I will be very transparent with you. You are a who's who in our community. I'm just so happy and so fortunate to absolutely know you. But I will tell you, doing the most about audience here. This one right here will have them shades on, and she'll be driving down, and I swear you'll feel like you are in LA on Rodeo Drive, just because because you have seen Nicole. So you see her, she totally approach her, but sometimes you may be like, I don't think I need to go.
Coachable. I try to tell people I really love people. I'm
Yes,
good.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. You are amazing, and you have just a fabulous style. Again, give us again how we can contact you.
Okay, it could be www.timelytax.net, or I'm at Facebook at Timely Tax, or Instagram be the same at Timely Tax.
Very good. Nicole Fields, I have one thing and one thing only to say to you as I know you, like I said, you've got clients coming in right after this interview here. Miss Fields, you are doing the most with all the time that you have.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to be able to speak with you during this time, and I don't take it for granted, and I sincerely appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, welcome back. You know, it is now time for doing the most in action. And this one, guys, it is an absolutely great one. It's one that is a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill for me to swallow, for you, I mean, for everyone around me. Listen, today's mantra or today's doing the most in action is, I want you to say, I'm moving on. Simple. I want you to say, I'm moving on. I want in your mind, I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it in your body, in your heart. I'm moving on. You're like, Cynthia, what do you mean I'm moving on? Listen, you can't live in the past. You, as well as myself, we've all had just weird things just to happen in our past, right? It's been things like we couldn't explain. It's been things where like, you know, if this didn't happen, then I would be so much further, or I would be here, or I would be there. How often do you hear friends who talk about, you know, back in the day, if this hadn't happened, then I would be this person. Or if this hadn't happened, I would be with that person. You know, there's all types of circumstances, all types of situations that happen. They happen in our life. We've heard this so many times. They happen not just to happen. I'm a firm believer. Everything that happens in your life, in my life, it's there for a reason. There's some type of lesson that we have to learn. There is something that has to be revealed. Maybe they're learning something from you. Maybe you're learning something from them or the situation. But you have to say to yourself, once that is in the past, no, we don't forget it. I'm not saying that. Cynthia is not saying we forget our past. No, by no means. You think I forget my past? No way. My past is what created me to come to you to sit here on doing the most. So absolutely, don't forget your past. But you have to say today, I'm moving on. I am moving on. So often, again, we can get stuck. We can get stuck in that period of whatever the devastation was. And we can sit there and we can mull over it, and we can wake up one day and it's 10 years past that event. It's 50 years possibly past that event. And we have not moved forward. We have not used whatever it was that stopped us in our tracks at that time. We have not used that to fuel us into the next season. We have not looked at what was God trying to tell me? What was the universe trying to tell me? It's there. It's there. I promise you, it's there. But today, for doing the most in action, our action is we're moving on. Say it to yourself. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Does it change you? Does it catapult you, immediately into the future? No. But you have to start somewhere. Start somewhere. I'm moving on. No matter, regardless of the situation, I'm moving on. I'm moving on, and I'm moving on to something better, whether it be 2 weeks from now, a month from now, or a year from now. Everyone is on their own timetable, but you have to say it. You cannot stay stuck in the past. My husband likes to say, what direction does a turtle walk in? Forward. What direction do we walk forward in? Forward. I said it, forward. We don't walk back, we walk forward. So for today, doing the most in action, I'm moving on. Don't forget, guys, subscribe. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. If you love what you heard today, you love what you saw, you learned something, you are inspired, you are able to be connected, uplifted, right? A little bit of entertainment here, right? Please subscribe. Subscribe across all social media platforms at Doing the Most with me, Cynthia Mallard. And of course, as I always say, you can reach me on all social at Cynthia Mallard. I absolutely love, 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 love doing the most. I love realizing that we have so much inside of us. And now is the time to do the most with what we have, with the life, with the experiences that we have, okay? I love you. And of course, I'm always going to tell you, do the most.